The Open Studio.
Alright, what's going on, everybody on Twitch? This is the Open Studio. I am Justin Golak, floating around in the mothership dimension. This is our touchstone. This is our base that I'll be coming at you guys from. We got some great acts coming up, and then some great interviews with those acts. It'll be a great show. Thank you to Michael Gal for that intro video. Thank you to Jackie Manti from Some of Our Dimension Design. We got a lot of creative people that help out on this show, and if you want to be part of the show, if you want to be an act, maybe you want to design something, everything we do is community-based, so just, become part of our community, and that takes place on our Discord server, so you can find a link to that in the description, and, come hang out, come say hey. And if you want to see these shows specifically, subscribe to the Twitch, and sound off in the chat how you're feeling during the show, and, maybe I'll ask some of your questions to the guests. Maybe I'll riff on some of the things you say. Just, sound off. Have a good time. If you guys are still anxious about the election, just worried because you don't know the results, just remember someone needs those results, cares about those results more than you, and also doesn't know those results. And that's Joe Biden. Because Joe Biden is at a malt shop in 1968 in his mind. So he does not know any of the results. He doesn't know anything that's going on. Be like Joe Biden. Just be hanging out with your favorite gal, thinking about going steady, and just be there here. And that's all that really matters. I was thinking kind of the other day, I've just been so, I've been trying to address this system on principles, and I think that's what's leaving me frustrated. Now I've kind of fully flipped and think that we should only have presidents with Alzheimer's, and that actually might be our best chance to get Medicare for all because they'll sign it thinking that it's just a letter to their sweetheart from Korea, and they just might sign it into, we might get lucky. I think it's all just getting lucky at this point if you're part of the citizenry. So let's just take some hay, throw some haymakers, throw some Hail Marys, let's get it done. Also, real quick, I heard in the news, speaking on that they actually found a cure for Alzheimer's. So that's pretty exciting. Found a cure for Alzheimer's. It's dying in your 50s. That's the cure for Alzheimer's. So that's a little bit I used to do back when I used to perform live stand-up comedy. If anyone's old enough to remember live stand-up comedy, stand off in the chat. Sound off in the chat if you remember what it's like to be around people. But yeah, I won't take up too much more on the intro here because we got a full lineup and we got some great stuff going on. And I wanted to start off, before we get into our first guest, I kind of wanted to, kind of like the old networks, like the old big three networks, right? Like we're doing some entertainment, but since we're using public airwaves, we're going to set aside a little time just for some news, just in the public interest. And so I got this guy to come on to lead off the show, just a little public interest piece. And we're gonna have him. He's called the Truth Pharmacist. He's a QAnon supporter. Which, if you don't know what QAnon is, what do you even know? What are you watching? The news? Right. So I just think it's important to get these ideas out there. So we're gonna talk to him. And before we do that, let's hit up a little bit of a farce, and then we'll talk to him and get through our whole set of guests, and we're going to have a fun time. So thank you guys for tuning in. Let's farce it up. See you guys in a few minutes. I watched a minute-long Nike ad about a young man with cerebral palsy training to run a half marathon. While watching this young man train during the first half of the ad, I let out an involuntary laugh. I would never dream of laughing at a physically disabled person, but the thing was, I wasn't laughing at his disability, I was just laughing at how he was running. If you told a non-physically disabled person to run as funny as they could, they would run like this physically disabled young man. By the end of the commercial, when the young man completed his training and finished the half marathon against all odds, I openly wept over how beautiful the story and message of this ad was. It was a real roller coaster ride of emotions. And it taught me that people with physical disabilities are just as capable as any able-bodied person of setting and achieving goals and overcoming adversity through hard work and determination. They will just look funnier while they're doing it. Muslims who commit acts of terrorism are referred to as radical Muslims. As a counterbalance to that term, Muslims who are equally devout in faith but do not commit acts of terrorism are referred to as moderate Muslims. But since both radical and moderate Muslims read and believe in the Quran, both radical and moderate Muslims believe in genies. I think that whether you commit acts of terrorism or not, believing in genies is pretty radical. It seems like we're willing to take a member of a religion's beliefs as a baseline, regardless of how absurd they are, and then label them radical or moderate based on how violent their lifestyle is. But that seems flawed too. All Christians believe in Jesus, which I would say is a wildly radical belief in and of itself, but again, most people would take that as a baseline and then judge Christians as radical and moderate based on how violent their lifestyle is. But is a violent lifestyle the only radical lifestyle? Amish people are Christians who believe in Jesus. They also are steadfast pacifists. But they are also a self-isolating community with their own language who don't believe in using buttons or growing mustaches. I think all that is pretty radical, even with no violence. It seems that there are three things that can happen to you while you're asleep. You can have a dream, you can have a nightmare, or you can have a bad dream. Dreams are good, nightmares are bad, and bad dreams are dreams that aren't as good as normal dreams. But it seems like linguistically and categorically, we are missing good nightmares. A nightmare that isn't as bad as normal nightmares. One time I dreamed that I was having sex with my high school crush in my childhood bed. She was beautiful and the lovemaking was passionate. I then realized that it was 9 a.m. and I was an hour late for a chemistry exam I hadn't started studying for yet. I woke up with a massive erection, covered in nervous sweat with my heart racing. That was a pretty good nightmare. In the end, I think religion should be labeled as radical based on the beliefs inherent to them, and then further characterized as violent or non-violent based on behavior. ISIS is made up of violent radical Muslims, and the Amish are made up of non-violent radical Christians. And the physically disabled members of each of those respective faiths probably look funnier than the able-bodied members when they're praying. That's one thing I'm sure about. All right, and we are back live. And like I said, I want to take some of our time here on the Open Studio to do a little public service, get you guys some information that can make your life better and more healthy and more informed. So I'm going to go ahead and cede some time now at the top of the show to the Truth Pharmacist. Everybody give your attention to the Truth Pharmacist.
Hello, Truth Seekers and Open Studio Chicago. I am the Truth Pharmacist, and this is your doctor-recommended dosage of truth. Side effects include waking up to the lies and pissing off libs. America is in a crisis. Joe Biden and his army of Satanist Hollywood elites are about to steal the election from God-fearing patriots and turn America into a gay version of the USSR. If we do not stop this, Socialism will reign, and all of our kids will be forced to live in gender-neutral bathrooms and wear paraben-free makeup. We must arm ourselves with the truth. Here are the facts. Fact number 1. Joe Biden was never born. He was created in a lab in China by Hillary Clinton in 2002. There were many failed versions of Joe Biden before the one you know today. They walk amongst us and call themselves Disney gays. To be clear, Disney gays are a failed experiment formed in a lab by Hillary Clinton. Fact number 2. Hunter Biden framed O.J. Simpson. Fact number 3. My favorite part of Inside Out is when Bing Bong dies. Fact number 4. In 2018, Hunter Biden proposed to Vladimir Putin, and Putin said yes. It's time to wake up. Fact number 5. JFK Jr. is still alive and is currently being hunted by Seth Rogen and communist scum Danny DeVito. Fact number 6. The Dems will pack the courts. They will pack the courts full of those packing bubbles that you can pop, but not the big ones, the really little ones that are way harder to pop and more frustrating than fun. The evil of the Dems is boundless. Fact number 7. If you allow Joe Biden to become president, Super Mecca Obamacare will be passed, making Barack Hassan Minaj Obama the only person in America legally allowed to practice medicine. All hospitals will be turned into those places where you just go and cuddle someone for an hour and it's not sexual or anything. Fact number 8. I wouldn't be like this if my dad just told me one time that he was proud of me. There will be several laws passed under the Biden regime that will destroy the very foundation of our country.
Hey, truth pharmacist.
What's going on? I thought I had a platform here.
Yeah, no, you too. I think people are really excited about what you're saying, and I'd love to talk to you, maybe more like interview style. I think we all, I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm biased. I can't believe that's true, but I feel like everything you're saying is everything. Most people know this. I mean, this is mostly just common knowledge that you're saying right now, which it's still good to reiterate it, but I would love to just get some more interactive kind of discussion going on.
If people have questions, I'm happy to answer them. First of all, no, do your own research, and by research I mean YouTube videos.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. It's like YouTube, if you guys don't know what YouTube is, it's essentially like video Wikipedia. I call it Vidipedia myself. That's not a professional term, that's a colloquial term I use with me and my militia members when we're hanging out. And yeah, all you need to know is there. I mean, exactly, like, right, like, I mean, when you watch something at NBC News, I mean, that's owned by General Electric. What opinion do you think they're going to put forward? Whereas you got YouTube owned by Google, who have never done anything wrong, and it's just like, come on, who are you going to believe, right?
Exactly. I'm glad that you're pilled like me.
Yeah, dude, I've taken them all. Dude, I've drowned a whole bottle with the liquid version. I am fully in on this. And so I would like to know, you're talking a lot about Joe Biden, a lot about Hillary Clinton, but I feel like not enough people know about Kamala Harris. What does QAnon say about Kamala Harris? I feel like there's things people need to know, before they...
There is someone in the chat, they just asked, what should we be more scared of, satanic pedophiles or satanic pedophile robots? And Kamala Harris is actually the first satanic robot that was produced by the Democrats. What's scary is that she is the first version, so, first generation technology is often very faulty, and she can do a lot of damage.
Yeah, I actually was doing some research, which is what I like to call it, the other day, and so if you actually go into the original Doom source board, the game Doom, which is about, mechanically altered demons from hell on Mars, if you go into the source code for the Cyber Demon, which is one of the enemies in the game, it's actually named Kamala Harris. That's the file. And that's just, the documents are online. You can find this out.
You can find it. You just have to look. You just have to look. Someone asked, how do you stop a lib from harming your loved ones? And yeah. I mean, if you do the research, literally all you have to do is YouTube that, and you'll find videos all over the internet of just cover them in Vaseline. A lib can't see Vaseline, so if you cover your loved ones in Vaseline, it will become invisible to a lib, and actually your loved ones will become more powerful.
Like if you were actually seeing if you've seen the movie The Predator with Arnold Schwarzenegger, the way he covers himself in mud, to shield himself from the heat-seeking eyes of the predator. That was actually, I mean, Hollywood, as much as they've been poisoning us, they've also been showing us the way out. That's how they get off, is they give you the problem and then they show you the cure, but they hide it. And so, I'm glad that we have people like the Truth Pharmacist that sees through all this and can tell you guys what to do in the event that you're around someone like a lib. Isn't that right? You're just trying to protect people.
It's absolutely right. And just know I do have to get out of here. I do have to post my video today, otherwise I won't get the engagement that I normally get. That's what my manager told me. But I just want everyone to know that obviously there's a lot of problems out there, but there is one person that can save us, and it is Donald Trump. And Democrats are currently feeding mail-in ballots to bats and pangolins to create a super COVID. So stay informed, stay alive.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think we went a little long, but I'd love to try to get to our next guest. Thank you so much, Truth Pharmacist. I'd love to get to our next guest, Alex Colliard, if we still have time for him.
We go from the window to the wall. Okay, remember that, everyone.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Truth Pharmacist. All right, let's get Alex over here. Thank you, Truth Pharmacist. We really... All right, Alex, thank you.
Oh, weird. That's something weird with my my mic.
So Alex, I'm talking to our director. I got our director here, and he says you were going to do a bit, but the Truth Pharmacist ran long, so we can't do your bit. But we have enough time to interview you, so we'll still talk to you for a couple minutes.
All right, fine.
Sorry, that's fine. You. I hope you understand. You know that we're just trying to get the truth out there, and I think what you had was really funny, but we're in an election week, and I just thought it was important. I'm sorry we had to bump your bit, but I'd love to still talk to you.
I had a bit about like a cowboy that's also from Atlantis, but I don't know. I can't get into it now. I know everyone's like, oh, we really wanted to see that. That sounds really cool. But
I can't speak for everyone else, but I'm picturing it, and it's hilarious.
It's great, right? A little costume and everything.
Yeah, I think I could speak for everyone. Say in the chat, just theater of the mind it. I think you know what he was getting at, and I think it was genius. So
absolutely, thank you.
Alex, do you have anyone in your family or close friend group that is actually QAnon? Do you have any QAnon close to you?
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where are your folks from? Where's your kin about?
I'm from Minnesota, so everyone's from Minnesota. My family. I know it's one of those things where I don't think like my mom is like 100% like I know who QAnon is. I know that whole deal, but she's very much fallen prey to the theories that have been presented by QAnon, which is the genius of the whole thing. Is there's like little like landmines out in like safe places where you think you're cool, and then you walk into a field and suddenly you're in the hell of QAnon.
Yeah, it's so funny because that is the insidious thing about it. Because I would say the same thing. Is I have a cousin who is, I wouldn't say she's full in. She's just a Trump supporter who kind of just dabbles in once in a while to some wild stuff, and it's like,
which isn't that insane? They're synonymous now. They're the first QAnon supporter, openly QAnon supporter, got elected to Congress this year, like in this election cycle.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's like the genius of it, as I see, is that I think the old school idea was like we can't make it too crazy because then it won't catch on,
Mm-hmm.
But now the genius is it's so crazy that people like my cousin will be like, "Well, dude, I know it's crazy, but the stuff about
but if you look,
but they'll say well, but the stuff about the pedophile ring's true, and to them, since they've backed off, they're like a moderate." They're just like a moderate conservative, just concerned about child predator rings, and it's like
exactly.
So
I listened to tons of podcasts on this because my family is like fully pilled, and I'm just like, how do I cope with this? And someone was talking about how this is very much the tactic of the satanic panic era. It's the same thing, and using the children. I mean, you saw it in the war on drugs. You see it in like people saying that rock music is bad. It's all about the children. And it's so hard to like tell someone, no, what you're worried about is bullshit. And they're like, so you hate children?
Right.
You want them to be, have their blood sucked by Tom Hanks?
Yeah.
What's wrong with you? And I'm like, I don't want that, but like, it's also not happening.
Yeah. It's just, I mean, again, like, it's like, I don't know how do you tell someone you care about children, but you don't believe in adrenochrome? Like, it's a tough balance to strike. And it makes the conversation like very difficult. No, I just wonder because my cousin's from Ohio, so it does seem like. Do you think it's like a Midwest thing? You got Minnesota, I got Ohio.
It's. I mean, it's
a heat map of it.
I think it's more of a because like everywhere is Ohio now with the way that like we've been locked down. Everyone's just in their homes, so it's all the same, and people feel disconnected, especially if they were right leaning and their left leaning children are like, I think you're racist. Now they're like, this community accepts me. I feel like so much of it is just like, I have a community of people now. Like if you talk to a lot of these QAnon people, they're not hyper crazy. They're like fringe, and they're actually really nice, and they think they're really doing something important for the kids.
Right.
And it's like,
which is funny because they want to save the children, but the only people that won't talk to them are their children. And it's like, just stay in your own family unit and you can help 3 children.
Right.
One of which is spending thousands of dollars a month on therapy because of you. Like, let's help the children we can help at this point,
I think that's the tactic. If your family is pilled, start sending them texts and being like, Tom Hanks, I'm hanging out with Tom, and then start sending them things like, help me, save me. I've been, and they'll save you, and they'll stop, and then maybe you can get them out of the whole thing. You have to be taken in.
And like, last question before we head out, like, do you get anything extra because you're like an actor, creative type living in Chicago? Like, you're both in a big city and perhaps have auditioned for some of these pedophiles in their mind. Like, you're in the pedophile biz.
That's what like does blow my mind for sure, because like my sister's also very pilled and she's incredibly supportive. My mom's incredibly supportive, so they're all like, you're gonna do great things
because they know you're good. So once you get into Hollywood, you will break up the pedophile rings.
I think that's why they keep sending me these videos, because they're like, you're gonna bring them down.
Yeah, Alex, just know if someone invites you to Bohemian Grove, don't go. All right, that's what
I might. Sounds fun. Sounds kind of fun.
All right, Alex, I'm sorry we had to cut your Cowboy Atlantis bit. I think we all got it. It was great. I'm sure we can have you back, but
yeah, we'll do it next time.
We had to, just time for public interest pieces. But Alex Colliard, everybody, sound off in the chat. Tell him how great he is, and we'll have him.
Thank you for having me. This is very fun.
And then next we got coming up, we got some videos from a very funny comic, Aaron Klaupner. Too many A's on the show, and I'm stupid. Aaron Klaupner, everybody, showing you some videos. So watch that, and we'll be back to talk to him in a minute.
goes. CBD's the devil's work. Jesus wants you to smoke Kush. God hates CBD. If you could smoke it in an airport, God doesn't love it. You're fine. You want to talk about CBD? It's too hot for a suit bit.
That's what this song's about.
It's the devil's Tylenol. Jesus loves Percocet. Don't go astray. You know what's right inside.
Yeah, just a large coffee.
I'm lashing out. I've been having a really rough time at school. THC stands for the Holy Christ. Bad back, you're going to heaven. Relax. That should be good.
You want those by Friday? Are you crazy? I need the weekend at least.
What's up? Merry Christmas,
Hey.
Aaron Klopfer. Very funny videos. So good.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Yeah. What about you? Same question as Alex. Do you have any family doing QAnon?
Fortunately, like the earlier video with the Prius showed, a lot of my family's dead. So a lot of the people
In these times, that's probably best, to be honest.
Yeah, it is, because it's like almost like an anxiety grocery list. It's like, okay, that's out of the way.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Weirdly peace of mind for that. I mean, not great, but still good for that. So all my family that is QAnon is, I have like maybe like one or two fringe cousins. It's like, well, it doesn't matter to me if you live or die, so I'm fine.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's really a bummer because I feel like people believing conspiracy theories is what ruined it, because it used to be so fun. And that was kind of like what made it fun. Like, here's the thing. if we have like the Sandy Hook shooting, like just an unabashed tragedy, and then
Mhm.
some guy named Alex Jones gets on the radio and goes, "Yeah, that didn't happen." That's objectively hilarious. Like that's the funniest thing that could happen.
Yeah.
But then people are like, "Yeah, you're right. Let's let's call and harass those parents." You're like, "Well, now it's not funny. You guys ruined the funniest bit that could have come from a tragedy, which is a guy being like, those are actors. Those kids are still alive." You ruined the bit. So that's really what makes me mad about it.
Yeah, because if everyone collectively just laughed at it, that would bring us together as a country. Like,
Which is what we did, after 9/11. That's how we all got through it. Is we were just like, well, that was clearly dynamite, and then we moved on. Like we didn't dwell on it. So I don't know. Aaron, how many of those videos have you made post lockdown?
I think okay, the Prius honking video, obviously.
Mhm.
That was like in around Mother's Day. I'm trying to think what else I showed. A lot of them was pre-lockdown, but there's some other like quarantine relevant videos that I showed on earlier video shows, but like just that feels like slightly less relevant now. Like I think
Yeah.
people are like, I could be wrong, but at least I'm kind of sick of like being like, haha, Netflix is funny, like I think
Yeah, no,
everyone's kind of sick of it.
yeah. I mean, I was just wondering, just because, like, like we met doing stand up. You mostly do stand up, and like I've also been trying to find things to like stay creative when you're just locked in the house. So I think your videos are super funny, and it's probably gotta be nice to have like that extra outlet since you can't get out and be on stage and stuff.
I love it. I'm grateful because like that's the way my ideas really come in originally, and I kind of have to like pull teeth to do stand up, but it's just that instant gratification that I do love, and I do love it. But what I did over the summer was, while the cases were still low, I filmed a bunch of stuff while it was like somewhat safe in July and August. So like I'm trying to edit all that now, but in the meantime, like if I'm on something cool like this, I'm like, okay, here's like a little sample platter of what I do instead of like one long video.
Yeah, and I mean, really, the only thing you can do, I guess, would just be like anything with like a big cast or anything. But you
Yeah.
have so many great videos where it's like just you, or maybe like you and like I don't know, maybe one person filming or something. So yeah, all that you could do pretty safe most of the time. So
Yeah, I'm excited.
yeah. All right, like what are you excited to get back to? Are you like then excited for stand up, for instant gratification?
It took 6 months, but like I do miss stand up
Uh-huh.
because I finally listened to some old stand up I've done just because I went like, how bad was this? And it's like, oh, this was like, I'm not as bad as I remember. I just have to like cut the fat here and there. So like I'm excited to actually like have the patience to watch my old video and like listen to my audio and just objectively see like how can I make it better.
Yeah.
So I feel like my discipline as a creative would be a lot better because now I'm like, oh yeah, I am totally okay with going through old audio after like a long night of being at bars,
Hey man, that's great. I mean, I think if you're gonna do one thing with the lockdown, it should be kind of like, like I will feel bad. Like I don't feel like I feel like everyone pre-lockdown was like, I'm gonna learn Spanish, I'm gonna learn the guitar or whatever, and like that's insane. And or if you did a good job, but like I feel like even though I think that's insane, I also think it's insane if people come out from lockdown like a year later and are like, I've done nothing and changed nothing about myself. That would also be insane.
I'm just lucky because like I'm excited to make videos. Like if I have a cup of coffee, I'm like, okay, it'd be funny if like I fuck Shrek or whatever or a pumpkin, like that's just what gets me like I'm just excited to make that stuff and I could do most of it by myself. So I'm lucky. My roommate is like a pure stand-up and he's losing his fucking mind.
Yeah. And I mean, I think lockdown or not, you should definitely like always have some sort of like I've always had kind of like backup creative ventures, even if I don't maybe like post it publicly or on social media or anything, just because like, yeah, you just got to fire off different synapses. I think even just having some sort of creative practice outside of stand up makes your stand up better. Otherwise, you're just running through like the same mental pathways over and over again, and it gets really, I don't know, it gets really stagnant, and you just get really bored with it.
I'm also like a big fan of like that theory. Like if you learn one thing and helps you with another thing, like you just kind of like strengthen all the muscles in your creativity.
100%.
But I feel like an asshole for saying that because I just fucked a pumpkin. So yeah,
No, dude,
please
but it
take
was
all
like
with the
I mean, I knew what that was. I mean, I understood. I mean, I don't know if people in the chat caught it. Sound off if you did, but I understand that was about Stalin's rise to power in Russia. I understood like the. So yeah. I mean, maybe other people didn't get it. Maybe they're like, "Oh, this is just an idiot fucking a pumpkin." And I was like, I mean, it is that, but it's more. All right, Aaron. Thank you so much for showing your videos, talking to me.
Cool.
That was super great.
Thank you.
We got one more guest coming up. We're going to do some music to close out as we usually do. So everybody, put your digital hands together for Phil Morris, everybody. Phil Morris.
Slow down, slow down, slow down.
Oh, I play. Okay. All right, here we go. Yeah, I got a song. Okay. Well, this first song needs a little intro. Last weekend, I was hanging out. I live in Kansas City, and I saw a lot of people out, like on patios, drinking and hanging out. And after being quarantined for months, it made me feel great that the weekend is back and alive. And I love the weekend. So much so that I wrote a song about it. So here you go. Hope you guys enjoy. It's Friday night, I'm just getting off work. The weekend's finally here, you know it's time to go berserk. My buddy's having a party, he asked me if I'm in. And I said, hell no, tonight I'm staying in. I'm gonna sit on the couch, play with my cat. I'll do a couple dishes and I'll take a nap. Order some Domino's, have it set. I'm gonna tip that pizza guy 20%. Gonna play video games for about an hour. Treat myself to a beer in the shower. Come on now, I'm still a good friend, but tonight I'm staying in. Well, Saturday morning, last night was tight, but that's enough of staying in. I think I'm going out tonight. I text my buddy, I said, yo, what's the word? He said, tag along with us, cause tonight we're getting turned. You see, I got to the party and the place was packed. I made my way over to the snacks. Someone said, Phil, you want a beer? I said, sorry, man, I think my Uber's here. That's right, I went back home. I played Candy Crush on my phone. I did some laundry, I shaved some stubble. I tried to force my cat to snuggle. I binge watch all my favorite shows. I eat that leftover Domino's. Come on now, I disappoint again because tonight I'm staying in. Tonight I'm staying in. You'll never see me again. Tonight I'm staying in. I don't like leaving my house. Alright, that's the first song. Yeah, I got one more, baby. This is a sexy one. Yeah, let's hear it for those who like to have sex. We match on Tinder, conversations alright. She asked me if I wanna meet up tonight. I said my place, board game party, what you think? She said sounds good, haha, board games, wink wink. God damn, you know I'm such a smooth guy. I got her coming over on the very first try. She walked right in, she started kissing on my face. I said, slow up now, don't forget about them board games. I know you feeling sexy, know you feeling saucy. But first, baby, let me see how well you yahtzee. I can tell you wanna take me by the hand, but I just wanna take you down to Candyland. It says right on my profile, I'm a board game playing fool. Taboo, Scrabble, shooting ladder, I'll take you straight to school. We gonna play some Guess Who? We gonna play some Sorry. What did you expect when I said a board game party? Come on. She's looking tired, not a board game attitude. I put away my Seinfeld Trivial Pursuit. I can tell she want a change in mood, so I grab her by the hand and I take her to my room. Good dog now. She see my bed, you know she hop up right on it. But I just wanna show her my second board game closet. Come on, no time for kissing, got no time for fornication. The only one getting naked is that guy from Operation. Nothing wrong with you, girl, you're looking good, honey. But how am I supposed to focus when these hippos are so hungry? She said, come on, Phil, can't you see I'm feeling naughty? We'll take it somewhere else, cause this is a board game party. Come on. A board game party. Yeah, I'm a virgin. That's all, thank you.
But you can't afford my outfit. Versace on my wrist, baby, make a wish. You could sell your Rari, but you can't afford my outfit. Versace on my wrist, baby, make a wish.
Hey, what's up, Phil? How's it going, buddy?
Hi, Justin. I haven't seen you in like 4 or 5 years. It's good to see you.
I know. Well, I actually work at a virology lab in Wuhan, and I actually started this pandemic, so we'd have an excuse to hang out. So good to see you, but also sorry to the world. You know,
worth
does
it.
anyone really, Phil? Do you remember this? And sound off in the chat if you remember. I was trying to think of it. I used to love this board game when I was younger. It was a board game that was like kind of like Monopoly. It was like Monopoly Light. It wasn't as full featured, which I thought actually made it better. Sound off in the chat if you're mad at that. I think Monopoly is too complicated and not fun. And
I agree.
It was like the board game was like a calendar. So you went through, I think, like a certain amount of years, you know, like, and you just tried to have the most money at the end. And there was, you remember this game?
I never played that game.
It was
Never
good,
played it.
but it wasn't like popular. I don't know really like anyone else that played it, but that might be it. No one else can hear that, but Payday. Do you guys remember the game Payday, Phil, or the chat?
No, never played it.
That was it.
Sorry, bro.
What is your favorite board game?
Ooh, I love Taboo. It's fun. It's not really a board game, but I like games that involve you like getting up and like goofing around, like almost charades kind of vibes. I'm not a big fan of like strategy games like Risk and like Monopoly. I find kind of boring, but anything
Risk is straight trash. Whenever I meet someone that likes Risk, I'm like, you better have a lot of other great qualities if you want this friendship to take off, because Risk is just straight trash.
Well, I hate Risk. That's why we get along so well.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Like, do you like gestures? You ever fuck around with gestures?
I don't know if I've played Gestures once, so I don't really remember it.
I mean, if you
But
like,
I would like it, yeah.
Yeah, if you like a good act out game, it's very exciting. Because the thing is, it's like you get these cards and you put it in this like contraption that looks like a film slate, and you have to do them in order. And the way it works is like when someone gets it right, you pull the card, but the card also falls like on a timer. So it's like it's very exciting because you'll have it where like. Because you have to pull the card to get the points, so you'll have it. Someone will be like, dog, and you'll be like, yeah. And as you go to get it, the card drops. You don't get the points. It's very thrilling, very exciting.
That's a cool contraption. I like that game.
Yeah,
That's
look
fun.
out for Gestures. I'm actually sponsored by Gestures, so I just made $4,500. But seriously, it's a great game.
Wow.
Phil, you work in radio, yes?
I did. I got laid off in April, so thank you for bringing that up.
So Phil, I heard you got laid off from radio.
I sure did, man.
That sucks because there's only like 8 radio jobs left in the whole country.
That's it, man. That's it. Well, you know, They make their money off of businesses buying commercials. So when all the businesses are closed, you got to kind of lay some people off. So there's a handful of us that got let go. I was one of them.
Well, so, I mean, the next obvious question then remains, are you going to be starting a podcast?
No, I don't. I've never had this. I've never wanted to.
Okay.
I'll be a guest on them, but I've never. I don't know what it would be about. I don't have the drive to do a podcast.
What have you been getting into creatively with, like, the lockdown then? Because, like, I mean, your songs are great.
Thank you.
We've talked about this with previous musicians we've had on, where it's like you can you miss maybe performing live, but you are able to make songs in the quarantine. Have you been doing that at all?
I have. So I used to, before quarantine, I would bring my keyboard on stage, and then I'd also bring the speaker. So I was doing music before that, but it was such an ass-ache to haul. Like one show, I was trying to carry a keyboard stand and a speaker, and I just like dropped my speaker and the batteries spilled all over stage. So my 3 minute set was basically me just cleaning up after myself. So
dude, the worst. I mean, this story is like, I don't know. I mean, if you're on episode 6, you already know my sense of humor. So like, I mean, this is maybe kind of sad, but I find it also funny. But that's the worst thing about doing anything comedic on stage. My greatest fear is having a stroke on stage and no one believing me and me dying. Like, that is my greatest fear. Because I knew this dude, he was kind of a bigger guy, and he was walking up to stage just at some like shitty kind of one-nighter in like Indiana or something, and his knee gave out. I think he ended up like blowing his ACL, and he was just on the ground like in pain, like screaming like, "Oh my God!" And everyone just like, great bit. Like, this
yeah.
Guy. Like, it took him like 5 whole minutes to get help up because he was just like, I'm in pain. And they're like, this guy is a little slapstick, but I dig it.
So yeah, basically I've taken quarantine to learn guitar.
Nice.
So my haul is shorter.
Yeah, dude.
That's it.
What about, I might throw this out to you. Have you ever thought about doing guitar?
I've thought about it. It seems pretty cheesy. Do you ever?
I think it's coming back, though.
Do you know who Wheeler Walker Jr. is?
Yes.
That's kind of my idol, man, because he's hilarious, but his music is so good. You can like turn it on just to listen to it and jam out. So I don't want to be cheesy. I'm actually trying to make good music. I'm not great at it yet, but that's my dream, is like,
hey man,
comedy songs that are also like, holy shit, this is pretty cool.
Dude, no one is ever great. It's just the trek you take. So I applaud you for taking it. That's all that matters. I had that conversation with a girl after a show I did back in the before time. She did music that I think they just brought her up as music, and her songs ended up being funny. But like the first few bars of music, I'm just like, this is like a great music. And I told her that afterwards. I was like, I think, for me, the bar for comedy music is it has to be good music first and then make it funny. Yeah. And she agreed, and I mean, this is like a girl up there playing guitar, singing funny songs. So she was very like, yeah, I'm definitely trying to like combat through the herds of, people on their 3rd month of learning ukulele, trying to like come for my spots. So, I mean, she definitely had the same ethos as me. So yeah, dude, I respect that journey, man. That's all. And those 2 songs are great. So I hope your practicing goes well. You got the time now. Phil,
bringing up the layoff again.
I was just bringing up quarantine, but also you don't have a job. Let's get in the chat, if you could email your representative so we can get a new relief bill so Phil can learn guitar and not go hungry. Let's get those checks coming out, baby. Hashtag gang gang. All right, Phil, thank you so much for doing our show.
Thanks, man.
And that is our show. That is all our guests that we have. And so, I mean, sound off in the chat if you want me to do I could do 2-3 more hours here in the mothership dimension if you want. Otherwise, I think we're going to wrap it up because we're out of guests. Yep, I think, well, I think the technology has spoken. You don't want those 2 to 3 more hours of me talking, which is fair. Shout out to the first 99% of this show that ran great. Shout out to Michael Garrity, our director, and Stephanie Duffy, our assistant director, for keeping this show running. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please come back. Follow The Open Studio on Twitch. You're already here, so just click the follow button. And if you want to be part of the community, be part of this show, or just collaborate with artists outside of this show, just be part of an artistic community, especially during lockdown when we can't do it in person, just join the Open Studio Discord. You can find links to all that. You can find links to everyone that performed if you want more of their stuff. You know, someone like Aaron Klopfer, you can watch more of his videos. He's got a ton. Find links to all that in the description as well. Otherwise, I think that's our show. I've been Justin Golak. You've been an audience. We've done a show. We'll be back here in 2 weeks. So what is that? The 19th? 19th, baby. November 19th. Come back. Watch us then. Good times. Not the TV show. What we had. All right. Thank you guys. Have a good night, everybody. Bye.
Running through our core. It's best to not feel sorry when it's over.